Man, that is some primo nasal spray, because my allergies have been...
This is the joke police! That joke's been used in about 600 reviews of this film! Get down on the ground, scumbag!
Hey everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Anthony Productions, and today I'm going to be giving you my review of Elizabeth Banks' newest horror comedy, Cocaine Bear. Let me just say, I did not know anything about this movie going in, and I was expecting a movie about a big, hairy gay man that has a coke addiction.
You need to leave!
Okay, that's not true. I saw the same trailer about 1,000 different times, just like I'm sure everybody else in the world. That trailer was literally everywhere. I just liked that joke. I thought of it on the way home from the movie, and I wanted to throw it in somewhere.
Boo! You stink!
So Cocaine Bear tells the true 1985 story of a drug smuggling operation gone wrong, where Andrew Thornton, played here by Matthew Rhys, that very well could have been on coke while filming that sequence. But anyway, that operation gone wrong resulted in him having to dump hundreds of pounds of cocaine out of a plane into the Georgia Chattahoochee National... Wow. I'm just gonna read that part off the script because I've tried it about 6 times, and yeah, that resulted in hundreds of pounds of cocaine being thrown out of the plane into the Georgia Chattahoochee National Forest. See, I still can't even say it while I'm reading off the script. The Georgia Chattahoochee National Forest, where a local black bear saw that all go down and decided it was time to party! In all seriousness though, this movie took a completely different direction from what happened in real life. This movie takes the monster movie route, with the cocaine bear being just a bear addicted to cocaine that goes on a drug-fueled rampage and will rip apart literally anything that stands in between him and his coke. Well, unless you're a character with plot armor. While in real life, all that happened was that the bear ingested a ton of cocaine, got really coked up, and ran around probably out of its mind and terrified for a good 10 minutes before its heart gave out and it died. Yeah. Sad shit. I guess I don't really know what to do with the information of the sad true story. I just felt like it was important to know before you see the movie. But the movie, like I said, decides to take the monster movie route, with the bear's version of a cocaine party! Meaning, going on a rampage and eating or ripping apart anything that gets in the way of its next bump.
Well, we're boned.
And that includes, bear with me, 2 drug dealers sent to recover the stash, 1 detective hot on the trail of the drug dealers, a couple of local children exploring the park, one of those children's mothers trying to bring them home, the park ranger, some punk teens, and a whole other slew of side characters that have no idea just how truly they actually are. Yeah, it's a lot.
I think it's too much.
Now, with a premise and name as ridiculous as Cocaine Bear, which apparently was just the working title, but they just stuck with it because they couldn't think of anything better, I knew that as long as this movie gave me some crazy action, violence, and gore at the hands, paws of a drugged up, vicious, and occasionally wonky CGI bear, I'd be satisfied. And I'll admit it, I was definitely satisfied with a lot of what this movie threw at the wall, and I have to give Elizabeth Banks props for going all in on the comedy and the more... Oh, hang on a second. And I have to give Elizabeth Banks for going all in on the comedy and the more grisly aspects of the film.
Yeah!
What are you doing? CSI Miami.
There's some genuinely good and funny dialogue between a lot of these characters, who, while not being the most fleshed out, like, at all have good chemistry with their co-stars and elevate this B-movie material far above what I was expecting. For example, we've got the 2 kids wandering the park like I mentioned earlier, Brooklyn Prince's Dee Dee and Christian Convery's Henry, both who actually feel like real kids interacting with the way that they joke around and mess with each other, lightly flirt and try to impress each other as kids at that age do, and the way they joke around with all of their dialogue. It made me smile a lot of times when they were on screen, even before the bear was introduced. Brooklyn Prince isn't in the movie often, but when she is, she's just as believable as she was in the Florida Project, when she was a fucking baby compared to this, with her limited screen time. And Christian Convery actually is a standout in this movie. That kid has a few jokes and a handful of lines that he delivers so well and so naturally that they got a laugh out of me, like a genuine laugh, not just a chuckle or a smile. And when they run into the bear, Convery actually does a great job of keeping that comedic timing that he's pretty good at, while visibly showing that he's completely terrified.
There was a bear!
A bear?
It was...
Hey! That's inappropriate.
So I gotta give props to that kid. He's a pretty good child actor, and I look forward to seeing him in more projects. Kerry Russell is here playing Dee Dee's mom, Sari, and though she does a great job with what she's given, I mean, it's Kerry Russell, no shit. She's not that much of a character and doesn't really have a meaningful presence in the film, like another recent film of hers that relegated her to a basically pointless side character. Aside from a weird parallel the movie tries to make at the end that it doesn't really earn.
No.
Hard pass.
Isaiah Whitlock Jr.'s Detective Bob is another one that doesn't really have much in the way of development or backstory, and we never get to hear Clay say shit in this movie, which is a little disappointing. But his character has a cute subplot involving an adopted dog that he has that has a very nice payoff, and there is a great scene that involves him and a few other characters later in the film around a gazebo. That is probably my favorite scene in the film, and that's thanks to him, the writing, and the strength of the supporting characters in that scene, who are the drug dealers that I mentioned earlier, sent to retrieve all the lost cocaine by the drug lord Sid, played by an incredibly brief but smarmy and douchey Ray Liotta, rest in peace, which are Alden Ehrenreich's Eddie and O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s David, easily two more standouts in this cast that is admittedly way too large. I really feel like Alden Ehrenreich got a really bad rap after Solo when I didn't think he did a bad job. He just got saddled with something that's very controversial, taking over that role from Harrison Ford. But everything else that I've seen Alden Ehrenreich in, I think he's a great actor. The first time I saw him in Hail Caesar, I thought he was good.
Would that it was a sample. Would that it was a sample.
Watch my mouth. Would that it was a sample.
Would that it was a sample.
And he's no different here. Him and O'Shea Jackson Jr., they play off each other very naturally and like brothers with the way that they bicker and passively dismiss or insult each other while clearly just masking the fact that they have a lot of love for each other. And Alden Ehrenreich's character has suffered a personal loss before the movie takes place, and in the beginning when we meet him, he's clearly grieving and has been grieving for a long time, and he falls right into that little drunken stupor, and it works very well. And O'Shea Jackson's David, right from the very beginning, proves that his character is more than just a drug dealer. He's a dude with a heart of gold that really loves his best friend and wants him to be okay and move on. And they really form an endearing part of this movie and bring a lot of the heart in, which I was not expecting from the trailer, which made them just kind of look like goofy dudes along for the ride. I'm a sucker for this kind of shit. What can I say? They're like this movie's Lemon and Tangerine, though not really written as well. They don't have as funny jokes and they don't really participate in much action.
No one likes lemons.
It's bollocks, mate. Lemonade, lemon drops.
Got a sore throat?
Lemon meringue pie.
When was the last time you ate a lemon meringue pie?
And it's two different movies, whatever. For the part they're meant to serve in this film, they bring the laughs, they help with the tension in a few scenes, and like I said, they even have some emotion and heart and pull at your heartstrings a little bit, even if it wasn't enough for me to bring this steel case of emotion down and bring out a single man tear. Something I never, ever do during a movie. I've never once cried during a movie. And by the end of the movie, I was bawling my eyes out right along with him. Yeah, I'll admit it, I teared up during 80 for Brady. I cried so much in that damn movie. And one of us may have even cried during the end.
Liar!
The last character I'll mention is Margot Martindale as the park ranger, and I have to say she's probably my favorite character in the film. She plays a tough, no-nonsense authority figure like you'd expect from a park ranger character like this, but with a touch of vulnerability that you see from the very beginning. That makes you like her character more, and the way that she either contributes or completely f***s any kind of tense situation that they're in is absolutely hilarious. I just wish she was in the movie more. I guess the last character I should actually mention is the Cocaine Bear itself, because I can definitely say that this movie fully comes alive whenever it's on screen. The scenes with the attacking bear switch between comedy and straight up horrific violence pretty rapidly, and individually, for the most part, these elements all work. Occasionally wonky CGI on the bear aside, these scenes are tense, darkly funny, shocking, surprisingly gory, and definitely get your blood pumping. There's just 3 problems with that. Number 1, there is not enough of the actual bear in Cocaine Bear. While I appreciate the fact that they actually hold back a lot in the very beginning with showing the bear, after they fully reveal the bear and the carnage really gets ramped up, there is way too much runtime in between the scenes of the bear actually attacking anybody. I actually checked my watch at I'm not wearing my watch. I actually checked my watch at one point and realized that the bear hadn't been on screen for a good 15 minutes. And regardless of how good of the cast this is and how much they got a laugh out of me, it did start to drag whenever the bear wasn't on screen.
I'm so bored!
Number 2, the tone really feels like it's at war with itself a lot in this movie. I mentioned earlier how the scenes with the bear attacking switch between comedy and pretty horrific violence very quickly, and once or twice it kind of works, but more than often it feels like tonal whiplash. Maybe I just didn't really catch on to the movie's sense of humor, but a lot of the violence and gore felt like it was supposed to be played seriously, and it just didn't juxtapose with the light jokes and slapstick, which oftentimes are actually in the same scene. Though whenever the bear is involved in the visual humor and the slapstick gags, it works every single time and made me chuckle or laugh. And number 3, all the cool scenes are in the trailer again. Obviously they don't show the actual impact and the gore and stuff in the trailers, that's still a nice surprise for the movie. But it just sucks knowing that the movie wasn't really holding that much more insanity than what you got in the trailer. What you see in the trailer is basically what you get, aside from maybe like 1 or 2 extra scenes involving the bear, with most of the other scenes just being made up by light, jokey dialogue that doesn't really have any substance to it. That being said, with those complaints out of the way, this movie could have been way, way worse. And for a movie called Cocaine Bear, I definitely didn't feel like I wasted my time. I can't really say whether or not I wasted my money because I got a Regal Unlimited ticket and only had to pay the 50 cents for the convenience fee, so I can't really speak to that. But for what it is, I respect it. Elizabeth Banks definitely bounced back after Charlie's Angels.
I think women can do anything.
Well, I mean, just because they can doesn't mean they should, right?
Did a pretty solid job directing this movie. The bear is a funny enough character while still being a terrifying killing machine when the movie calls for it, and the best part, the film clocks in at just over an hour and a half, which I will always applaud. Even if it takes incredibly long breaks between scenes involving the bear, the characters don't really have any real substance to them, and the comedy and dark horror don't exactly mesh together all that well through a lot of the film. But anyways, that's my review of Cocaine Bear. If you enjoyed this review and want to see more, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button to leave me a like. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. And while you're at it, you can leave me a comment and let me know if you saw the movie and what you thought. And while you're down there, you can subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new review. And while you're at it, you can click or tap on these cards here. It'll take you to my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, or just over to my channel where you can check out my reviews, my shorts, and my old shit. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next week for my review of Creed 3.